Okay, welcome everyone. I'm so glad y'all are here. This is one of those events that you see people talk about, and you probably wanted to hop on because one of those symptoms stood out to you. Maybe your story, you saw yourself in someone else's story. And so I'm just really glad people are here to learn the information for themselves and to be able to pass it along to those around them. People that are going to be in this stage of life eventually as well. And so that's kind of what I want us to think about here. I want to talk about, how can we improve our health leading into pregnancy? Right. So for some people, whether you haven't had a baby or you're going to have more babies in the future, how can we make our health better going into that? And then also on the other side of it, how can we kind of refuel and rebuild our body back up quicker so that we're not going to experience all of those symptoms that so many of us do. And we just kind of blow them off and accept them as kind of what they are. But what I want everyone to do is just real quick, hop in and let us know what is the age of your youngest kiddo? That's something that I think will be helpful as we kind of go in, as we keep going through. So 10 months, 9 months, little babies, 16, all over the place. And so that's something I want you to keep in mind, that you have some wisdom here. You're going through it, you've gone through it. And I just want to encourage you that, this information is going to be valuable and going to help you feel better. So next one. Okay, so back one. Here we go. This quote, there's a quote back there on wrong direction. You're just getting a little sneak peek of everything right now. I'll read the quote and then we can chat about it while the rest is getting figured out. And so the quote is, "Becoming a mother leaves no woman as it found her. It unravels her and rebuilds her. It cracks her open, takes her to her edges. It's both beautiful and brutal, often at the same time." Wow. Okay. How many of y'all are like, yes, 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 we feel that, right? There are those times of joy. And then there are also those times of extreme overwhelm, exhaustion. You're just tired. But I want you to think about, and I don't think we spend time really thinking about us or ourselves as mothers, especially during this time of having new babies, having little ones at home. We don't really get a chance to focus on ourselves and focus on that healing that needs to take place so that we can then better serve those around us, right? While we're pregnant, on average, people have about 10 to 15 doctor's appointments. Does that sound about right to everyone? Ish. I had twins, so I was in there, first name basis. We were there a lot. And then after, how many times do you go back to the doctor and they ask how you're doing? There's just one time, that 6-week checkup. Are you good to go? How are things going, right? One time. They might maybe during those, first couple of infant checkups, see how you're doing. But really, it's how's the baby doing? How's the baby sleeping? How's the baby eating? And it transitions very quickly to everything infant centered. And I'm sure, did y'all feel that way as well? Did people kind of check on you and see how you were doing from the medical perspective? And so there's that classic put your oxygen mask on first story. Everyone can kind of picture that with airlines. That's something that I always kind of shrugged off, like, of course, we take care of ourselves. But that situation right there brought it to my attention that maybe we don't actually give ourselves enough attention in terms of how we're feeling, especially in those early days. And you'll notice these are pictures of our team. And what I did is I asked them to share pictures of, some of their favorite pictures of motherhood. And so I just wanted to honor that. We are amazing. We brought people into this world, and let's celebrate that. And this is one small way that I can do that. So you're going to see a couple of pictures here, and you probably know everyone. So you'll see that as we go. So I mentioned, I'm Jen. Hi. I have one plus twins. That's how you're supposed to say it. So I have a 6-year-old, almost 7, like Saturday, he'll be 7. And then I have twin girls, and they're going to be 4 in May. And I am a homeschooling mama. I started staying home a couple of years ago. I transitioned from full-time economics professor to staying at home. Um, Everybody experienced 2020. Am I right? That was a fun time. Okay, that was a little much, but you know what I mean. 2020 kicked my butt. In terms of being home in this new role that I had never experienced before. It says there, I gained some weight, gained a little bit of weight. And I put myself on the back burner. I was really trying to navigate this new role of staying home. And I had this like picture in my mind of what that was going to look like and what kind of stay-at-home mom I was going to be. And I'd never done it before. And I definitely wasn't giving myself grace in trying to figure it out. And I was exhausted. I was overwhelmed. There was a lot going on. You know, I worked full time, so I saw the kids in the morning. They went to daycare all day. That wasn't the case anymore. And then, as it says there, I had a lot of shame about not being able to figure it out. I think a lot of times you look around and it seems that everyone else kind of has doing it better than we are. And I was just frustrated that I couldn't figure it out. Everyone else seemed to have it down. And what happened was, I kind of started making a couple of simple changes thanks to some friends here on these calls. And I lost some weight. It helped me lose 30 pounds. And I've been able to keep that off sustainably with lots of other life things going on at the same time. I was able to get my digestion back on track. I was diagnosed with IBS in high school, which is just some letters to say your gut's not doing great and good luck figuring it out. And now I'm pretty good. This is the best it's been. So that to me is just yay. I have a lot more energy, right? I can run to the rides at Disney with my kids. I don't have to sit and watch them play anymore, which is what I was doing. I was watching my kids grow up in front of me and not really experiencing it with them. And then I have more stable moods. Not saying I'm a perky mama all the time, but things are a little bit better. And I have more confidence in what I'm doing in myself and my motherhood. And I feel like me again. And so that's my story. Now, you're probably like, why are you talking about postnatal depletion? Well, I saw somebody post a book about it. I bought the book, I read it, and I was like, that's me. That's why other people feel this way. Like I'm not alone. Okay. So I kind of took a long time and just started diving into this. And the more I learned, the more I just want to share that we don't have to accept these feelings as normal. And there's something we can do about it. There's some small changes that we can make that can really make a difference. So, one thing, have you heard of postnatal depletion before tonight? Or before kind of seeing people talk about that? Why don't you put in the chat just a yes or a no, a Y or an N? Yeah, not so much. Yeah. Yeah, I've been talking about it. So if you've been around me, you might have heard about it. But for the most part, a lot of people don't know about it. It's one of those things that we face. I think some of the numbers are like 80% of us mothers experience, and nobody ever talks about it. And it's one of those. Part of the reason is that, as you can see there, it says postnatal depletion is a syndrome. It's not a disease. And what that's really kind of talking about is there are just deficiencies. If you were to check kind of the levels, your nutrient levels, you're just going to see that they might be lower than average, but they're not in the depleted part where doctors are going to take action. And a lot of the tests that you get run aren't even going to pick that information up. And so that's why it's kind of hard to talk about sometimes, is there aren't specific numbers all of the time. You're just suboptimal. Okay. Yeah, you're just suboptimal. And so, as I said there, it's common. A lot of us have experienced it, but it's not normal. It's not something we have to have. And there's no need, I'm going to do that just in case. There's no need for us to suffer. This is a picture. This is my actual keychain. And I love it, but it reminds me like, yeah, that's cool to be superwoman or super mom, but like, we don't have to be. Like, we don't have to suffer. We don't have to think we have it all figured out. And just what we're going through, everybody's feeling that way. And so sometimes we kind of wear like our exhaustion, our fatigue, or just like our mom brain as a badge of honor. And while, a lot of people talk about it that way, why don't we just make a change? Like, let's do something about it. And the part that's really interesting to me is it can last to 10 years, right? If you're depleted and you don't fix it, you're just going to keep getting worse. And so I think a lot of times we think postpartum is 6 months, right? Let's give ourselves maybe 6 months and we're considered postpartum. Once you have a baby, you're always postpartum. Okay. And so let's kind of do something about that and change that narrative of um, it can last a long time. Okay. Um, and it's accumulation over time. So as like I said, things kind of tend to get worse if you don't nip it on the bed right away. Now, why are we depleted? There's a lot of information right there, and I want you to take a sec. I'm going to talk through some of it. Thanks. And then I'm going to ask you to type in there if you can, how many of these have you experienced? So why are we depleted? Hey guys, we had a baby. We grew a baby. We birthed a baby and we nursed a baby. That is a lot for our bodies to handle. We've entering pregnancy depleted. If you've had littles right in a row, your body didn't really have a chance to recover, to be itself, to you have control over your body. It's typically belonged to someone else. Physical changes to the mother's brain. Your brain, I have right here, some people say it shrinks up to 5% during pregnancy. We kind of need our brain, but you know what? We're also growing another brain. And so in looking at it more, it's like we're kind of giving our baby what they need. Everything is going to the baby and they're taking first dibs on it. Hormonal changes, right? We know that estrogen, progesterone, oxytocin, relax. I could go on and on and on about things that are going and they're changing really rapidly after you have a kid. Your body is going from one situation to another very fast. Loss of sleep. Yeah, right? But the other one I want you to see is the disrupted circadian rhythm, right? Sleep is important and we'll talk about it some more. But I think we typically think newborn sleep, right? Oh, you're up all night. But like toddlers, they wake you up. And in your deep sleep, when your body is doing some real work, and that matters. Okay. So there's that. The new role and identity, often accompanied by social isolation. As I mentioned before, like I entered the stay-at-home situation not knowing what's going on, but a lot of us don't really know what to expect in that new role as a mother. Um, and I think one thing one of the books about, it said there's factor in the fears that you're also letting down the woman that you used to be. And I think it's a new role. We're a new person. And so I think coming to terms with that, just figuring that all out. Lack of social support. We don't live by our families in a lot of cases. There's that, culturally, we don't have that village around us all the time. We can make that village, but in other parts of the world, there is a village bringing you food, treating the mom like royalty, and making sure she wants for nothing. And she has that peace and quiet to bond with her baby, to nurse with her baby. And that's all she has to worry about. A lot of us, it's probably not the case. If we're lucky, that's great, but maybe not. Social pressure to return to normal. How many times is it when you go to work? How long is your maternity leave? And that normal can be work. It could be getting back to activities. It could be getting back to commitments. These are all things that people are trying to, oh, that could be it, trying to kind of take away that initial experience that we could have or need. Predisposing physical factors, inflammation. So I'll talk about gut health a little bit, but if you have issues with that, they're just going to be exacerbated during this time. And they're also going to increase inflammation and increase the depletion as well. And then the last one here is environmental factors. We know that the air we breathe is not great. What we put in our body, what we put on our body, all of that is going to influence how we're feeling. So which one in the chat, which one of these stood out to you the most, or did y'all have one? Which one of these kind of is something that you experienced that maybe you kind of think might factor into some of this? Yeah. Yeah. For sure, the sleep, right? We think just babies mess it up, but that's not necessarily the case. Yeah, huge, huge identity part, lack of social support. This is the first time we've lived by family, and I'm already seeing the benefits of it. Yeah. Yeah. Our body is doing so much. Okay. Next one. So the next one here are just physical symptoms. So these are things you're going to probably be experiencing if it's postnatal depletion. We have that mom brain. We all joke about it, but guys, it's not a joke. We don't have to deal with that. Like I said, we give up part of our brain to grow our baby's brain. Um, and yeah, and part of it's biological. Our brain slows down a little bit so that we can be more aware of the signals our baby is giving us, on the cues they're giving us with feeding and sleep. So part of that is so we can pick up on that information. Fatigue, right? We always say we're tired, but when we talk about it this way, it's more of if you had a couple of good nights sleep, would that be enough to recover you? So that's what we're talking about here. Insomnia or disrupted non-restful sleep. Part of that, kiddos are waking you up, but also it could be stress. It could be your nervous system just kind of being overwhelmed by, again, that new role, all the stimulus around you. The loss of skin elasticity. Our bodies have changed a bit. Skin, nails, thinning hair, right? Mom hair. Yeah, exactly. So teeth, that's in it. I knew about cavities, right? Typically we think, cavities increase during this time, but the translucency, the receding gums, bruising, I bruise all the time, guys. Sensitivity to light and sound. This is one I did not realize was the thing until I had kids. Noise. I didn't know I was as sensitive to noise. I feel like um, it's just very stimulating to me. I didn't have that problem before, but we're picking up on the cues of our baby, so we're changing, but that's also carrying on to as they're getting older and kind of some of that around us. And then poor digestion. Yeah. Thanks, baby, for all of that. So how many, if you look at these, so a couple of y'all already put in there what you thought, but how many of these have you experienced and probably just dismissed as, I had a baby. Those are expected. Yeah. Yeah. Right. All of them. So many of y'all are saying all of them. I just imagine if we didn't have to. Okay. So go ahead and go to that next one. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Your digestive system. It's amazing how much it's impacted. Your body is going through so much. The next part is emotional. I think a lot of times when we talk about this, we might stop at the physical part and we don't go to that next part of emotional. And I will say right here, postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety are linked to postnatal depletion, but they are not the same. Okay, so I'm not a doctor in that regard. So if you are experiencing these to a greater degree, reach out, talk to someone. There's a lot of definitions of how to tell the difference between like worry, anxiety, and if there's some resources. So if you think that, if you need that, let me know. I'd be happy to give that to you, but reach out to a doctor if some of these just don't feel right, I would say. So anxiety, overwhelm. Yeah, you have a whole human that you're responsible for. And so that's something. Worry is in our head, anxiety is in our body. That was just a helpful way to think about it. If you're having a physical response to those emotions, that's what we're talking about here. Hypervigilance. So tired but wired. This is when you go to lay down and you can't because your mind is racing of everything to do, all the lists you have to get done. You want to protect that baby and you want to make sure everything around you is safe for that to be the case. Decreased libido, guilt, and shame. I already talked about that, your role. Especially one to think about here is especially if your birth didn't go as planned. If you had a plan and it didn't go that way. I think all of us have these ideals of what that's going to look like. And if it doesn't live up to that expectation, then we need to deal with that. We need to acknowledge those emotions and deal with that. It's real. You're not alone. I experienced that with my first delivery, right? And so that was something when someone said that you can have those feelings, it's okay, acknowledge them. inability to cope, loss of self-confidence, sense of isolation. We're home. We can't do as much as we can. Powerlessness, diminishment. A lot of these I want you to think about is how does it compare to before, right? How does your ability to cope? Maybe you just can't cope with the same things you could before. Your capacity has changed. So between these, which ones do you think, the physical, emotional, did you experience? You want to share that? Some of those. I'll tell you this one right here got me. The emotional one got me quite a bit. Yeah, anxiety. Okay. Oh, right. Okay, good. Thanks for sharing, guys. It's super vulnerable and I appreciate it. And you're just helping everyone around you here to know that you're not alone. So that's super important. So now I want to invite my friend Rebecca on here to talk to say there is hope. That's all the bad stuff, I promise, but we can do something about it. And so I want Rebecca to come on here and tell her story real quick.
Yeah, I'm so glad that Jen asked me to share. This is all kind of new to me and sharing my story. So I'm excited to be able to do that with you guys. So a little bit about me is that I have 4 kids. They're all under 7. 7, 5, 3, and 1, or 18 months, whatever. We stopped counting months at this point in our lives. But I am a homeschooling mom as well. I have got a first grader that I teach and doing Shackley on the side. And I'm excited that, you're all moms here and we've got a fantastic team and it's fun to see these pictures of everyone. But for me, like, why Shackley? What is up with anything? How I got started was I saw a friend, my friend Chelsea, actually, she posted, this was like years ago, like maybe 4 years ago. She posted something about being tired. And of course, she had little kids at the time too. So I'm like, well, yeah, no kidding. We're all tired. Okay. And at the time, I was tired. I was tired too. I was, sleeping when I could. At this point in time, I had 2 little people that were, I think, at this time that, yeah, I was pregnant with my 3rd. And so I had a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and then being pregnant again on top of that. So I mean, I was tired. I was agreeing with her. And so, I was seeing her post some different things and I was sleeping when I could. And so actually I decided to, what, I'm gonna give something a try here. And I officially signed up as a distributor like 3 years ago. But it wasn't until this fall where I decided I wanted to share more things with other people as well, especially moms and just everybody, really. I mean, but what I did is I made just a simple vitalizer or vitamin strip change, a vitamin change, just a simple strip. So my doctor with my first pregnancy, she gave me like a bag full of prenatal vitamins, like different brands, all kinds of different ones to try, like, chewables, all kinds, literally all kinds, different brands. I don't even know how many or which ones they are now, so long ago, but so you know what? Free. I mean, I'm gonna try them for sure. See which ones I like, right? And so I did. And then you have to buy more eventually. And of course, I end up settling on gummy vitamins because they are easy to take, and I liked them. And so whatever, and they were good. So, and I always have had trouble swallowing pills too. So that was kind of another like no brainer. Before that, I didn't ever take any vitamins or anything. So yeah, so that was where I was with as far as taking any kind of, because that's like the one thing that your doctor will tell you to do is, are you taking prenatals? Are you still taking your prenatals? You get your blood work done. And it's like, okay, yes, I am. Okay, well, which kind of prenatals are you taking? They don't really care. Just as long as you are saying yes, I think is what is important there. I know with one of my pregnancies, I had low iron, but I mean, knowing what I know now, it's like, well, of course I did. I was chewing on gummy vitamins, so it's like so silly, but I made a switch. I saw my friend Chelsea posting. I don't even think I asked her many questions. I just bought these things, saw a distributor deal, and I'm all for deals if you know me at all. And so I started with a Vitalizer strip, and it has like a bunch of different vitamins inside of it, and it has a probiotic, which I had never taken before. And what I noticed was, I mean, it takes some time, obviously, to get into your system and into your body, but a 180 I'm not kidding. It's like a 180 change within how I felt, how I wasn't so tired all the time. I mean, I had a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So it's like, okay, yeah, mom's allowed to take a nap. Yeah, you are. You're allowed to take a nap. It's okay. But all the time feeling like that is maybe not quite normal. And I think just realizing that, because we have that, mom brain that we laugh about, or, that fog or whatever, and just, yeah, feeling tired, and moms are allowed to nap, sleep when the baby sleeps. That's like a joke. But yeah, I mean, try it to the most part. But I was joking with a friend once when I was pregnant with that third baby, and I was just joking with her that, like, I mean, I wish I could build up my sleep tank or something, but then once I switched this vitamin, I mean, it was all different. So, I mean, and I did have to, like, kind of learn, because I mentioned before that I've always had trouble swallowing pills, and they're not small little things by any means, but they're, so there's some practice, and there's still days where I, like, have trouble with it. I then, after I added the Vitalizer, I did, just a couple other simple switches, because I realized, I'm like on the go some, at that point in time, or like I'm just busy, or by the time I get their kids' stuff ready, it's like, oh, what am I eating? I don't know. And so I decided to, give these shakes a try as well. And so I just have added a few things here and there over time, and just simple switch. So why now Shackley for me is just sharing those simple switches with other people, and hopefully they'll notice a big difference in their health as well. And so that's kind of why Shackley with me. And yeah, and I fell in love with that Shackley difference too. I know we're going to talk about that more in a little bit, but that the Shackley difference really is, once I started learning more, I didn't even care about that initially. I was just like, this is working for a friend, so maybe it'll work for me too. And then, learning more about the company and stuff like that is something that definitely sold me and has continued me to go. So
Yeah, great. I love how your story just really tells us that not all vitamins are created the same.
yes.
You know, I think that's important. And so yeah, so I why the vitalizer? We'll talk about that later, but here are some important things to make sure that you're getting in there um, to help your body refuel after, growing, birthing, nursing, caring for babies, and more. So, what I want you to do real quick in the chat, if you can, is tell me, did you take prenatal vitamins? And if was there anything else that you had to take or were recommended to take or test that you just kind of think about that. Um, I'll tell you mine. I took a prenatal. I had to take extra iron. Yeah, extra iron. We're seeing that. We're seeing that. And then another one we'll talk about here. I had to take vitamin D. That was the one that was recommended after going to a specialist. When we had some kind of fertility issues, magnesium. Good. Yeah. So some of these you're going to be getting extras then. Now I want you to think about it. Yeah, extra B. Good. Yeah, that's so true. When did you stop taking all that stuff? Yeah. I know, I'm seeing some faces and I kind of feel that way. Like I took them. I maybe took my prenatal. I think I stopped everything. I just took my prenatal through nursing. Yeah, as soon as the babies were born, right? Hey guys, we went through something too. Like our bodies did it. And so, yeah, around 4 months. And so we need to keep doing this. And so that's why we're experiencing some of these symptoms here. So iron, it sounds like a lot of you have, that was one that you were told to take. Our blood, the amount of blood in our bodies increase, and we need that to help us process, to help us do that entire process. Also the blood loss that we might experience during birth, right? So you stop taking it after you've had it for all these months and you just had a big event happen in your life. So that's something we need to continue taking. The other one is the B12. That one's going to help with metabolism, energy, mental health, immune function. All of that sounds pretty good. Your in maintaining a healthy mood. That one's kind of nice to think about, especially when we think about those emotional symptoms before. The vitamin D, yeah, I lived in Minnesota, Wisconsin, now Ohio. So vitamin D, we all take those now. I didn't before. I didn't know that until I went to a specialist. And a lot of us think some interesting parts about that. I thought, oh, if I'm out in the sun, I go for a walk, that's good. But you know what? We put sunscreen on. We don't necessarily have our legs and our tummy, those, like I was reading, they're called like our solar panels. That's where we really can generate the vitamin D. I don't walk around with all of that out on display all the time. And then, if we're at the beach or something, and we go take a shower or something after we've had that exposure, some of it's gone then too. And so our bodies need help in that area. And so I just found that incredibly interesting. Thought I'd share a little bit. The vitamin C. Okay, we know that one. One thing about the vitamin C was when you're stressed, you need more. I don't know about y'all, but motherhood's a little stressful sometimes. Stressful as we think about it emotionally, but also physically demanding. Our body is going through stress. That's not just us thinking like I'm stressed out. It's our body is going through some physical responses there too. And so that's one. It's important for skin, gums, ligaments, all of that. So get that one. Calcium, magnesium. You mentioned magnesium. Somebody mentioned that one. One of the places called it Magnesium. It's the one that makes sure everything gets done in the right place, at the right pace. And so that's one, your whole body needs it. Proper functioning. The reason it's important here is it helps with others, right? It helps the proper functioning of calcium, iron, zinc, copper. All of those depend on magnesium doing its job. And we'll mention it a little bit later when it comes to sleep. It's kind of important with slowing some things down. It increases the melatonin production. And so that we need sleep, we need help. So that one's a good one there. And then zinc. Yeah, that's digestive system a bit, helps keep the immune system strong. And now Rebecca mentioned the Vitalizer. Did you guys know that all of these are in there? Right? That's why this is important. These things our bodies need. And we also need something that's going to make sure we get what we need in the right combinations. And it's actually what it says it is. And so we'll talk about that some more, but that's why this stuff is important. And so the next part I want to mention here is nutrition. We're going to go to the next one. And if you nutrition, we'll talk about it a little bit. We have a ton of resources to help you in this area too. And so the biggest thing that I want people to remember here is food should be enjoyed, not endured. Right. So when we throw out diet and we restrict ourselves, that is not what we need to be doing when our body is trying to heal. And we also need to enjoy that process too. And so another big one is to think about this individualization. You need to know how your body responds to food. And so one of the things, in the research I was doing, it was recommending moderate to high levels of fat, moderate levels of protein, and small amounts of carbs. And primarily that was due to the inflammation that can come from some of those carbs that some of us, our bodies don't respond well to. But I really want you to think about an awareness of how your body responds to food and what you need given your lifestyle. And again, we have a lot of resources to help you there. And so fat, don't shy away from that. Omega-3, right? We know that has to do with like our eyes, a lot of times, our brain needs all of that, our central nervous system. We need omega-3. And so that's when you want to make sure that you're getting in your diet to help with that. I have omega-6 there. There's one specifically that kind of comes up in some of the research to help with kind of hormone balances and such. So the gamma linoleic acid, GLA, that's one that I've come across. It's been a real big game changer for me. If you want some more information, reach out. Carbohydrates. I really love that it says think fresh and green. Think fresh and green. It's not bread, right? It could be. My body doesn't like that. But I just like vegetables. And so we need to make sure that we're getting all of those vegetables there. And so like there were some awesome ones that it talks about of getting the most, the best, the biggest bang for your buck. Like it's going to be cabbage, broccoli, leeks, onions, garlic. Those are so good for your body. But it's one of those to just think about how does your body respond and give it those veggies it needs. Don't shy away from others if you can handle it. We need that to live and do what we need to do. But listen to your body and make sure you understand how it responds. And then with the protein, guys, we don't get enough protein on a regular basis. In general, it's available to us, but it's just not one of those that we focus on a lot all the time. And it's crucial, right there. It says it's the building blocks of our cells and our muscles. And so we need extra when we're pregnant. We need even extra when we're nursing. And so this is going to be something that you need to make sure that you're giving your body fuel to do what it needs to do. And then I have collagen on there, right? We hear about collagen these days, hair, skin, and nails. And collagen is also very important in terms of healing post-birth, because your body has gone through a lot, and it can help with those, like I said, the muscles, and it aids in cell production. And so we want to think about that. And for me, collagen became a big factor when it's joint pain. So I shied away because I thought beauty, hair, skin, and nails, I don't want to deal with that so much. But when I learned it was really about joints and ligaments, which our body, if you think about it, it's changed massively during this whole time. And so let's support it in a way that it needs. And so that's one. The last thing on nutrition I want to say is kind of what you eat determines the amount of energy you have and your ability to focus and sleep. And so if you really pay attention to it and are aware of what you're feeding your body, I think that's a win in and of itself. Okay. I have exercise here, right? We all know we should move more. And so this one, you'll see it doesn't say like go to the gym. It doesn't say go lift weights. It doesn't say anything structured necessarily. If that's you, great. I love those, but I can't do those all the time. And so not only is movement good for your physical health, God, can y'all attest, like it's great for your mental health too. It's good in building confidence, in not only how you feel, how you look, but you also see what your body is capable of. And that to me is a massive deal in terms of how I'm feeling physically and emotionally, mentally. And so here I just listed a couple: walk, go for a walk, play with your kids, do the monkey bars, go down the slide. They're going to think you're that superhero that we were talking about before when they see you go down that fireman's pole. It's awesome. Stretch. I don't stretch enough. Do y'all? Maybe if you do, you're awesome. That's awesome. But we need to stretch. We're getting a little up there a bit. Chase your kiddos. Have a dance party in the kitchen. Whatever makes you happy. That's going to have huge benefits for you. Then we have, let's see, the next one is sleep. We all hear sleep when the baby sleeps. But as I learned more about what your body does during sleep, I understand why it actually matters. And so sleep is medicine. This is the time when your body does all the work, like it says, replenishes your brain, clears out the toxins. Your gut does a lot of digestion at that point, helps regulate emotions. And it's a built-in stress reduction mechanism. We kind of need that. And so I think I just want people to know like why it's important. We say it's important, but understanding the why behind it might have us go to bed a little bit earlier. Okay. I mentioned bedtime routine, phones before bed. When do you eat? When do you work out? How much coffee are you drinking? Those are some things that you have to think and consider to help with how you're sleeping. And the two things I have mentioned there, I've mentioned before, the calcium, magnesium, that's when the help with sleep, it kind of slows things down a bit. It's also been helpful for us in like helping kids with growing pains and Charlie horses. If you're experiencing that, that's one of the things you're deficient in, probably. It's worth checking out or trying. And then ashwagandha, it helps your body be able to handle stress a little bit better. And so we have a couple of things that can help with those. And so reach out to somebody that invited you and we can give you some more information on those. But those are two kind of vitamins or herbs that are helpful in making sure your body has the time to do what it needs to do. And the next one here I have is, gut health. We're all hearing about this. But as I learned more, and I've kind of have a history of having IBS and lots of digestive issues, and I know how I felt. And learning more helps explain that so much better for me. Our gut's the foundation for our health. It's a second brain. One of the things I read about was it saying our gut is our second brain and our brain is our second gut. Okay, it's all related. And as there's more research coming out, they're noticing that your gut health and your brain and your emotions are so tied together. It's not your brain is affecting your gut or your gut's affecting your brain. It's both. It goes both ways. And so that's so important for us to think about. And so our immune system, right? A probiotic helps with your gut health here. Like Rebecca mentioned before, our whole family takes it for immune health. Like who needs that more now than kind of what's going on in our world? Our serotonin, right? That's going to help with our emotional levels there. And mood, all of that kind of goes together. But it kind of feels like we're hearing gut health a lot, but understanding the actual implications of having a healthy gut, a healthy digestive system, especially on how you feel physically, but also how it can impact you emotionally. And learning that has made a huge difference for myself. So I just want to share, I want to shout that from the rooftops. That's my new thing after postnatal depletion. That's such a big one. And so the next one here, we have Havel is going to come on and tell you a little bit more about her story of kind of experiencing some of these and maybe having some help to get through some of that.
Yeah, so I think I can just, I guess with my story, quickly confirm all the things that Jen's been telling you. So a little bit about me, my background. I was like, I've been interested in health my whole life, really always reading labels. When I was a kid, I would just sit and stare at the cereal box, nutrition facts, and just, that was always fun for me. And so I always had sort of a generally what people would call a healthy lifestyle. However, I didn't really take supplements. And the reason was they always gave me digestive issues. And so when it came to pregnancy and having kids, I thought I'll just have to figure out how to do it without them, because like I've only ever heard bad stories about prenatal vitamins from my mom and my grandma. Like they couldn't tolerate them. So I must not be able to tolerate them either. So I just kind of dismissed those. And then I ended up finding like a food-based prenatal that I could kind of tolerate for my first baby. And I ate really well. I really watched, made sure I was getting lots of nutrition from my food for my first baby. But by his first birthday, I was like, something's up. This is not working anymore. Because I just became a shell of my former self, and all those things that I was just in the comments saying, yes, that was me. Yes, that was me. Yep. All of those. That's what happened. And I was like, what's going on here? This isn't supposed to happen. I'm doing all the things. And so right around that time, I met Chelsea, and she very slowly and kindly and graciously started nudging me and encouraging me to try some Shaklee products. But I was getting so desperate. I was like, well, nothing I'm doing is working. Maybe I'll just do it. So I tried the Pruvit challenge, which we're probably going to talk about, but it had Vitalizer in it as well as protein. And I kid you not, within a week, I was feeling better. Just 1 week, like my nails were growing faster. My brain, it felt like my brain just started booting up. Like it was like it had been in sleep mode for so long, and just like all my creative thoughts started coming back, and I was like able to think ahead and like process things. It was amazing. And it's like mom brain started going away. And yeah, I was like, Chelsea, what's in this stuff? Is it drugged? What's going on? She's like, no, it's just pure vitamins and like minerals and wonderful, all kinds of wonderful things. So that translated to giving me hope for like, oh, I can have more kids and probably not feel like total zombie all the time. And I just want to share with you, with baby number 2, and I had my kids were about 2.5 years apart. But the pregnancy was better, and I still had a good pregnancy with baby number 1. It was still good. Like I didn't have anything major happen, but number 2 was even better. My birth outcome and recovery was so much better. The labor was still very challenging. So I'm not saying that this is going to solve all your mommy issues ever, but it's still like made a huge difference. And then now he's 9 months old, and continuing with my Shaklee products and being really consistent with them, I have little to no symptoms of postnatal depletion. Like I feel great. I really do. I could probably use a little more sleep, but I can still get through my day and function well. And yeah, I'm really, really, really grateful. So I hope that you'll be willing, if any of this is resonating with you, that you will be open to giving some of this a try.
So good. Yeah, I love your story. I love that you got to have that like amazing experience that second time around. That's thanks to Shaklee. And so that's what I'm going to talk about real quick. Is why Shaklee, right? What's in this stuff? It's what it's what's in it is what it actually says, like that's what you're getting. And so safe, right? We all care about that, not only for our health, but the health of our family, right? The contaminants, you're not going to see those news articles coming out about something found in Shaklee. We don't have to worry about that. The science is there to back up what they're saying, all the clinical studies. As an academic, that spoke to me. That's not the case. These types of studies that are done are not done by other companies. The 100% guaranteed, if you ever have any issues, they will refund you all the way, right? They want to make sure you're getting what you need and it's the best experience possible. And then beyond organic, right? They have exactly what the package says is what you're getting. It's the best ingredients. They do not sacrifice on ingredients. If something's out of stock or back stock or delayed a bit, it might be because their standards weren't met with the ingredients, right? And so that's something that if a company is going to put your health above profit, that speaks to me, right? And so if you can give this, like that's Shaklee right there, everything about it. So the next one here, we can kind of briefly go through this one. These are the things in the Vitalizer that Rebecca was talking about and Havilah mentioned as well. A lot of these vitamins, I don't eat all of this stuff all the time. We're a little busy, as it says. You can't really get all of this, not only because we don't eat it, our soil doesn't provide the same nutrients it used to, and our bodies cannot digest it in a way that we can utilize all of the nutrients that might be available if it did, in fact, if it was there. And so this is what's in the Vitalizer. If you kind of look, all of those things are what I listed off before as to what we need. That vitamin C, vitamin D, B12, all the Bs, the iron, the magnesium, calcium, it's all there. And so as I read it, you can go to the next slide too. As I read this book and I learned more about postnatal depletion, I felt like it was an advertisement for the Vitalizer because it's there, the Vitalizer, as Rebecca and Havilah mentioned, there's the multivitamin. And so that simple swap, she saw a change just by doing that. The B and C complex, the science behind this, you're getting everything exactly where your body needs it in the exact amounts you need. So that's a slow release. Your body can't handle all of it at the same time. And so it needs to stay in there a little bit longer. You have the Karate E Omega, that's the omega-3 I was talking about. And it goes a little bit lower. It's coated, it's lower. You're not going to have those yucky, fishy tastes like you might in some other situations. And then the pearl, that's our favorite around here. It has that triple layer on there so it can go through the stomach, the upper intestine, and finally get to that lower intestine where you actually need it. And so for me, this is the part where I was like, okay, yeah, Shaklee's it for me. If it can do this, like we had a whole health lesson was showing my kiddo what we were getting here and why it was going to the places it was. And he was fascinated in that, the science is what sold me. And that's why we have the stories of actually feeling different by doing this. And so that says the Vitalizer, but it also applies to Shaklee's other products as well. This is just the one that I'm focusing on to specifically address those postnatal depletion. And then the next one, guys, this one here, the Pruvit challenge, Havilah mentioned that, I think, and the protein. It's a quick meal for our family, for all of us. We all take it. I, as a vegetarian, wasn't doing a great job getting the amount of protein I needed in the appropriate way. And so this has helped me learn more and helped me to make better switches. You can see the Vitalizer that I'm pointing at the screen. You can't see that, but I'm pointing to the Vitalizer there. It has everything you need. It's right there for you. It fits all of the daily values, recommended values of all of the nutrients we listed and more. It's like above and beyond what you could need. And every time I was going, I would do research. I'd go grab my Vitalizer box and look at the back. I'm like, okay, check. Okay, next one. I'd go back, check, that's in there. And so the ease of that, knowing you're getting what your body needs, exactly where it needs to get, and the amounts that you need to get, that's not something we can say about other companies or other products. And so I love this. This is such a great place to start. And then there's the cleanse is included in that as well. And that's just a way, I think, for you to reset that gut, to really be aware of what you're eating. And if you're looking for weight loss, that's great. This can help you with that. If you're looking for energy, if you're looking for a more mental health, mental awareness, clearing up that brain fog, this is going to help you do it. And so I can't, it's just amazing that we're already doing exactly what it's here to help you be the mom you want to be. Like, I think that's the biggest thing I want you guys to take away from this is like, we have the resources. We don't have to keep experiencing those symptoms, both physical and emotional. And so that's something I want. Yes. Okay. The next one here, Collagen 9, I mentioned that one. That's one that, we talked about before. And then the greens booster, that's kind of the deal that's going right now. It's as if Shackley saw my presentation last month when they came out with this, because I was saying we need more greens, more greens, more greens. And this is one way for you to do that in a way that is easy. Throw it in a smoothie, throw it in some muffins and pancakes, collagen, protein, all of that together. And that's your meal and you are set to go. Take your vitamins and there's not much more you need to do. But that's just kind of there. The last part, and I know we're a little long. I got a little excited, I think, about sharing. But this last one, I think, is super important as well. And Rebecca hinted at it a little bit when she was talking. We've talked about sleep. We talked about activity. We talked about nutrition. And the last one here is that purpose. And when I started, I signed up for the Pruvit Challenge and the business at the same time. And I did that because I knew I needed accountability, but I also needed something that was mine. I don't know if y'all can kind of see yourself in that, but I was a professor. I went from a full-time professor to staying at home. I'm a learner. I'm a teacher. And this has been a way for me to do that, to continue teaching, to bring health to other people in a way that's, it is a way that I can fulfill my calling, my purpose. And so if that's something that you think you could benefit from, reach out to whoever invited you. And we would love to kind of give you some more details on how it can fit in your life and how it can serve you and help you serve other people as well. So that's kind of the last one there on the health. And so this is the last slide, y'all. Thanks for sticking around. But this quote here is everything to me and why y'all are here. You're learning this not only for yourself, but for the people that you want to serve, your loved ones as well. And so the path of motherhood, while long and arduous, should at least be paved with constant support, education, and honoring your amazing achievement as you nurture another person through the world. And so I want you guys to think about how this information is affecting you. I encourage you, how can you encourage another mom out there that you might be seeing? Some of these conversations about how tired we are, how we can't think straight, or how we're overwhelmed, that's happening all around us. And now we have the information here, right, that we can share. And so I encourage you to be that encouragement to someone, to be that tribe, to be that support in a time of isolation that we know, of a stressful situation as well. And so, yeah, I think it's important for us to take care of ourselves so that our kids can see us taking care of ourselves. That is such a great gift. If they can see us coming through our struggles in a successful way, they know they can do it too. And so this isn't just about you. It's about our family. It's about all the people we love and the people we can serve. So that's all I have. If you have questions, that'd be great. I have one question for you guys. What is the one thing that you wish you knew to that before, like heading into pregnancy? What's one thing you wish you knew that you didn't know now, or you know now, but you know what I mean? What's that one thing that you're learning that you wish you knew before? Yeah, not all supplements are created equal.
Protein. I wish I could just like get every mommy eating enough protein. I think it would make a huge difference in outcomes. I mean, yeah, the supplements are too, but like protein's the
Yeah.
building blocks, and you can't do much with vitamins if you're eating all vegetables. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
See, protein. Yeah, I mean, you really need both, but
The amount of protein, I think the amount of protein to me as I was reading was surprising. And I probably wasn't even getting half of what I needed, especially with the diet I was doing. Diet is in just how I was eating, not diet, but that's such a big one. Yeah. The Shackley difference. I know that's a big one. Not all things are the same. And we're so lucky we found this. And I wish I would have shouted all from the rooftops. That's what I keep saying. Yeah. Do y'all have any questions? I'm here. We also have a wealth of knowledge all around us in this group. Okay. Well, I thank you guys so much for coming. I hope you're walking away encouraged, and you have something to share with someone around you that might need to hear this too. So thank you guys for coming.